Hello, I want to review the weekly discussion/activity because I feel like there's been a little bit of confusion and I want to make sure that we all get on the same page so that way we can keep moving forward together as a group. So first, I want us to go over where you find this information because you shouldn't just be looking at the forums and assuming that that's the only thing that's due for that week. So each week there will be discussion question and or activity posted in Blackboard. So in order to find that information, you go to course content and then the weekly discussion activity information folder. So this is the home page. Here we have course content. Here we have the weekly discussion activity information. Here's the folder that has the weekly information about each week's discussion or activity. So week 1 was only a discussion because you guys were introducing yourselves to each other. But after that, we've had a discussion question and an activity. So you can see week 2 discussion and activity here. This is the instruction file and this is the template file. The next point that I want to emphasize is that the material will be made available on the first day of the week. So for y'all, that's Monday. So every Monday, you should be coming into Blackboard, looking at course content in the weekly discussion activity folder for 2 posts. The first post is going to be the instruction file. The second post is going to be the template file. So we can go back into Blackboard and see what that looks like. So just as an example, we have week 2. You can tell there's a difference because when you look at the attached file, you can see it says week 2 discussion instructions, week 2 discussion template. The instructions basically give you an idea of what I want you to learn about this week because you're going to have a quiz later this week that'll cover this information. So I want you guys to go through the chapter and learn about this information. So in week 2, you guys did brand parity, globalization, changing norms. And then for your discussion post, you had to find 2 ads, one that was aimed towards U.S. consumers and one that was aimed towards non-U.S. consumers. A couple of you went ahead and used this to create your own assignments. But what I want you guys to realize is this is just the instructions. Once you've finished reading through this file, then you open up the other file that is the actual template. So what that looks like in Blackboard is, again, we have the week 2 discussion and we have the week 2 template. So this is the week 2 template. You can tell it's the template because it asks for your name, date, course information, instructor name, and so on and so forth. One of the things I want you guys to realize is that I've already put in the page number in parentheses. All you need to do is put your last name in. Double click, highlight the text, put in your last name. Then while you've got that still open, you can scroll down to the bottom, highlight this text, and put in the course information. And you do need to make sure to put in the 007 because without that in there, you could be posting something for the other class. I will count that as incomplete and you will get a 50% deduction on your grade. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But this is the template that you use in order to post your activity information. So you can see here's where you define. Let's open this so you can see. So part 1, define brand parity. Here's where you define brand parity. Define brand equity. Here's where you define brand equity. So use this template because it's set up to make your life a lot easier when you complete these activities. And if you have any questions about that, you can always contact me and let me know. Next, I want to go over the file with the guidelines and general penalties for not following the instructions. This file is in Blackboard and is the first file that you'll find on there. So if you click on Blackboard, here you go, the activity guidelines. So when you click on the activity guidelines and you actually open up the file, you can see here's the first thing that I'm asking for. Your full name, not just your first name or just your last name. I want the full name, the date, the course information, which is MKTG 3660007, because I'm teaching multiple sections of this and I want to make sure that I've got the right class. Your instructor's name, which is my name, and you can always just put my last name and it's everywhere in this course. And then the page number, which I just showed you guys how to edit that, and the footer, and I've already shown you guys how to edit that. And I want to be very, very clear. If any of this information is missing, incomplete, or incorrect, I will take off a 50% deduction for each assignment. So it's not if you miss your name and the date that is 0, but if any of this information is missing, like let's say you put just your first name, that means you'll get a 50% deduction off your assignment. So it's very important that you make sure to be very thorough in checking your file to make sure you've covered everything that I've asked you to do. All activities must follow the formatting guide that I provided. So basically what that means is make sure to use the template that I provided you. Don't create a new template because if you create a new template, I will take off 50%. All files must be saved as a doc or docx. A handful of people have submitted zipped files among other types of files. If my computer cannot preview the file or cannot open the file, there will be a penalty. So you can see here that previewing the file where I have to go in and actually download the file, that means it's a 50% deduction. But if my computer just completely cannot open the file, then it's a 0. And then if your file has excessive typos where you clearly have not gone in and used spell checker or grammar checker and made sure that your file represents a collegiate level of writing, then I will take off 1 point on top of the rest of the 5 points that are available. So make sure that you've gone through and you've prepared your assignments, that you're not just turning them in hot off the press. So the next thing that we want to talk about now are all post materials must be complete and submitted by 11:59 the week that they're due. So one of the things I want to be clear on is discussion posts are to be put in the form. So what that means is we have the form, and you can see here's week 1 discussion, week 2 discussion, week 3 discussion. Your discussion post goes in here. It does not go in the activity file. And the activity file, what you'll find at the bottom is just the date. I want to know what date you posted it so I can go back in and easily check and confirm that you actually posted what you said you posted. But it goes in here, not in the actual template that you submit to me. The activity, on the other hand, will go in and be submitted through Blackboard through the assignment feature. So you go into course content, go into the weekly folder, and then you scroll down. And you can see the instruction file will always look like a page with it slightly turned with nothing else on it, whereas the activity file or the assignment file has a little ruler and a pencil. When you click on that, you'll be able to submit your homework. That when you click on week 2 activity, you'll be able to submit your activity, and this is what it will look like. And you just browse your computer and attach the file that you've created. The next thing that I want to emphasize is late and emailed submissions will receive a 0. If you submit your file at 12 a.m. on Monday, it will be a 0. 12:01 a.m., it's a 0. I do not accept late work because we have too many things going on. You've got to make sure to stay on time with your assignments. The same thing goes for emailed assignments. If you email me your submission, you will still get a 0 because the expectation for this course is that you're not waiting to the last minute. So if something happens, you can easily have a little bit more time to go in and submit your activity through Blackboard, not email it to me. I do not grade emailed submissions. If you're having trouble, you need to immediately contact either the Blackboard Help Desk or the UNT IT Help Desk. So you can call the Blackboard IT Help Desk at this phone number. Another place where you can find more information about that is if you go to, I think it's my institution page. The Student Help Desk information is always right here on your front page. I also have the faculty one because I am teaching, but for you guys, you need the Student Support Desk. The other option is also UNT IT Help Desk. Either one of these should be able to help you. Finally, one of the things I want to point out, because I saw this last week, is that Blackboard gets overwhelmed on Sunday. And so there are times when it may be 11:50 or 10 o'clock on a Sunday, 10 p.m. on a Sunday, and you cannot submit your assignment because Blackboard shuts down. If that's the case, you will get a 0 if you're unable to submit your assignment via Blackboard. So I really encourage you not to wait until the last minute to submit your work because there's no guarantee that Blackboard will be up and running at 11:59 p.m. when your assignments are due. To that end, Blackboard goes through scheduled and unscheduled maintenance. And I know I've talked about this with the quizzes where they have the scheduled maintenance and it can eat your attempt if you're trying to use Blackboard during this time, but occasionally there's unscheduled maintenance. So you need to make sure that you're planning to be able to get your activity submitted with plenty of time so that way you don't run into issues at the last minute and you end up getting a 0 on your assignment because you couldn't get it turned in by a Blackboard on time. If you have any questions about any of this, please don't hesitate to email me. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.